What if I told you that the sound of a heartbeat doesn't come from a woman of flesh and blood, but from a rough piece of cloth that's 500 years old? Would you believe me? For centuries, we have looked at Our Lady of Guadalupe. We admired the colors, the stars on her mantle, the gentleness of her face. But no one, until the modern era, ever thought of listening to her. And yet, when science placed a stethoscope on what should have been nothing more than an old piece of cactus fiber cloth, silence was not the answer. The answer was a rhythm, constant, fast, alive. Today, I want to tell you the staggering story of how a doctor discovered that under the mantle of the Virgin of Guadalupe, against every law of physics and biology, there still beats a real heart. Is it a scientific mistake? Is it mass suggestion? Or are we standing before the definitive proof that this image is not an object, but a presence? To grasp how terrifying and wonderful this discovery is, we first need to understand what we are looking at. Juan Diego's tilma is not a fine linen canvas prepared for art. It's an ayate. It's made of agave fiber from a succulent plant. It's a poor material used by the indigenous people to carry goods or to protect themselves from the cold. Its very nature is to decompose. Under normal conditions, an ayate lasts at most 20 years before rotting away due to humidity and parasites. The tilma has existed since 1531. It has been dead for almost 5 centuries. Scientifically speaking, it is an inert object. It is dried cellulose. It has no nervous system, no blood vessels, no muscles, no living cells. It is, in every sense, inanimate matter, like a piece of wood or a stone. If you press your ear against a painting in the Louvre, what do you hear? Nothing. You hear the silence of matter. If you lay your hand on a marble statue, what do you feel? The coldness of stone. These are the immutable laws of our world. Dead matter does not generate heat and does not generate rhythmic movement. But in Mexico City, in the basilica where the tilma is kept, the laws of our world seem to be suspended. The scientists who approached this image over the decades were searching for pigments, brush strokes, animal glues. They were looking for fraud or for art. They did not expect to find life. But that is precisely what happened when they decided to stop merely looking and began to listen. Everything changes when you move your focus from the painting to the person. Our Lady of Guadalupe is depicted as pregnant. We know this from the Aztec symbols. The black sash tied above her abdomen is the unmistakable sign of motherhood in the indigenous culture of the 16th century. Her abdomen is slightly prominent, swollen with the life that is about to be born. Some years ago, during a series of non-invasive studies on the image, an event occurred that made everyone present tremble. The intention was symbolic, devotional, but supported by real medical instruments. A doctor placed the diaphragm of a stethoscope, the same instrument your doctor uses to listen to your lungs, directly on the area of the Virgin's abdomen, just below the black sash. Picture the scene: the low murmur of the basilica in the background, the suspended breath of those watching, the cold metal of the instrument. The doctor expected nothing, the absolute silence of dry plant fiber. Instead, a sound reached his ears. Thump, 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 thump. The doctor, incredulous, thought it might be a defect. Maybe it was his own heartbeat echoing. Maybe an environmental vibration. He moved the stethoscope. He tried again. The sound was still there, localized, precise. It wasn't random noise, it was a biological rhythm. And here comes the detail that science cannot explain. The doctors counted the beats. The rhythm was 115 to 120 beats per minute. Why is that number so crucial? Because it is not a random number. If it had been 60 or 70 beats per minute, we could have said, that's the heartbeat of an adult woman at rest. But 115 beats per minute is not the heart rate of an adult. In fetal medicine, this is exactly the range of the heart rate of a baby in the mother's womb during the final weeks of pregnancy. What they heard was not the heart of Mary. it was the heart of Jesus. Stop for a moment and think about this. We are talking about a cloth that reproduces, at an audible level, the exact physiology of a pregnancy. But how can a sound exist without a body producing it? For there to be a heartbeat, there must be a heart. For there to be a heart, there must be blood flowing. For there to be blood, there must be warmth. And this brings us to the second part of this impossible discovery, which confirms the first. If you touch a metal object in a cold room, it feels cold. If you touch a piece of cloth in a damp church, it feels cold. Inert matter takes on the temperature of its surroundings. This is the law of thermal equilibrium. Yet several measurements taken on the surface of the tilma have revealed another disconcerting anomaly. Despite the changes in temperature inside the basilica, despite the cold or heat outside, the surface of the tilma tends to maintain a constant temperature. And can you guess what that temperature is? It hovers around 36.6 degrees Celsius. 36.6 degrees, the exact perfect temperature of a healthy human body. Let's put the pieces together. We have an image that is not painted. We have a constant human body temperature. We have a fetal heartbeat that can be heard acoustically. The rational conclusion begins to falter. The spiritual conclusion is overwhelming. The tilma is not a mere representation. Our Lady of Guadalupe is not up there. Our Lady of Guadalupe is within there. It is as if the tilma were a living body suspended in time, a physical extension of the presence of Mary and Jesus. It is not a photograph taken in 1531. It is a window that is always open, a living portal that still pulses and breathes here and now in the 21st century. Why? That is the question we must ask. God does not perform miracles as a spectacle. Every sign has a recipient and a precise message. Why would he allow modern technology to discover the heartbeat of the child Jesus exactly in our era? Think of the time we live in, a time in which life in the womb is often the subject of debate, of doubt, and at times of rejection. A time in which we need to see in order to believe, where science has become our only measure of truth. And it is precisely in this time that from Mexico there comes a signal that speaks the language of science, beats, temperature, frequency, to proclaim an ancient truth. The heartbeat at 115 beats per minute is a silent cry. It tells us that God truly became flesh, that he was small, defenseless, hidden in the womb of a girl from Nazareth. It tells us that the incarnation is not a fairy tale, but a physical, biological, real event. To hear that heartbeat is to understand that God is alive. He is not an abstract idea somewhere far away in the universe. He is a heart that pumps blood, that feels emotions, that lives. And if that heart is still beating in the tilma, it means his presence has never abandoned us. That heart beats for you when you feel alone. It beats for you when you think no one is listening. It beats for you when you are afraid of the future. It is a heartbeat that crosses the centuries to say to you, I am here, I am alive, and I love you with a visceral, physical, concrete love. Our Lady of Guadalupe does not bring us only her image. She brings us her living Son. She is the living ark of the covenant, bearing within herself life itself. Imagine being there, in the basilica. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine laying your head on the green, starry mantle of the Virgin, just like a child would with his mother. You would not feel the roughness of cactus fiber. You would feel warmth. You would hear that thump, 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 thump. It is the heartbeat that has upheld the universe and yet made itself so small as to hide within a piece of cloth. This miraculous sign is an invitation to synchronize our heart with his. That heart has been beating for 500 years, waiting for someone to notice it. Today, you have noticed it. And that heartbeat is an invitation. Let me beat within you. I want to ask you to make a concrete gesture now, before this video ends. A gesture to say, yes, I heard you. Let's fill the comment section with a declaration of life and love. Right below, your heart beats for me. Do it right now. Write, your heart beats for me. Each comment will be like an echo of that divine heartbeat spreading through the digital world. Every time you feel lost, remember, there is a heart in Mexico that is beating your name.